Good afternoon and welcome back after the break. My name is Bradley Frank and I'm accompanied by Naomi Titus. We hope you enjoyed your break. Over the next hour and 40 minutes, we'll have 5 presentations. It's such a great honor to be the co-chair of the session with Naomi for the 200-year anniversary of the SAO. Naomi, I think it's quite cool for you because you were just recently observing at Sutherland. Is that right? How was it?
It was fantastic. I was actually the first person up there since lockdown started, so it was incredibly quiet, but also a really nice, refreshing experience, and just nice to really get back into things, of such a core part of the observatory. But as I say that, they have been observing remotely here from Cape Town with most of the telescopes in Sutherland, very much like you guys do with Meerkat.
Yeah, that's right. So we have been observing remotely with Meerkat and with Cat 7, its predecessor, for several years. So we are very used to remote operations, although we do miss the social interaction with our fellow scientists.
Yes. Well, and that's very much like this virtual symposium today. So with that, I will take us into the proceedings of this session. Just some information before we start, if there are any questions during a presentation, please add them to Slido Q&A. You can find this in the app, and then we will address these questions after the talk. There's also, if there's more technical discussions you would like to take up with colleagues, you can add that to the discussion forum. So now I would like to introduce our first speaker for this session, Sivuyile. Welcome. Sivuyile has been with the SAO since 2003 and is currently the head of science engagement here. Welcome, Sivuyile.
Hi guys, thank you.
Yeah. So Sivuyile is going to give us a talk today on outreach and publicity.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm delighted and feel honored to be part of this historical meeting because it happens at a time when we have reached the 200-year milestone. Just imagine, how the gathering was in 1920. And for a moment, please imagine how the gathering will be in 2120. I think this is a moment for us to reflect on the journey that we have had, what we have achieved, and to celebrate our victories as well as chart the way forward. So today I'm going to talk about science engagement at the South African Astronomical Observatory. This is a massive topic, and I will try to give an overview and try to highlight some of the successes we have had along the way. But before that, I think I have to acknowledge those who have come before us, those who have laid the foundation for us in this division. Here, I got a slide of Mr. Cedric Jacobs, the longest serving member in the outreach division at SAO. And he actually connects the past with the present because he has been there before when we started science engagement at SAO, and he's still there. And he also represents the other staff members that I could not put on the slide. So I wish to acknowledge all their contributions and roles within the division. And also we have the three gentlemen, Dr. Clifford Nomani, who laid the framework for outreach within this division, and Mr. Case Reisdick, who has contributed so much in terms of materials development and resources that we still use even today, and some we have shared internationally. Everyone knows Mr. Kevin Govinda, the inspirational Kevin, who has helped us locate SAO outreach within the international context and has helped us build so many relations nationally and internationally. Like I indicated, that our outreach program is quite massive, and we reach out to teachers, to learners, to the general public, to media, to industry. But it was not always like that. It was not always like that. In the beginning, there were open nights, and there were programs that were set for teachers, like maybe once in a quarter. But because of the Southern African Large Telescope, SALT, I think my colleague Anthony yesterday referred to the impact of the construction of the South African Large Telescope in Sutherland, and how it has had an impact in terms of transforming the town into a tourist destination. But SALT has also had an impact also in terms of science engagement. Because of the construction and the funds that came linked to the Southern African Large Telescope, we were able to build this massive program that we have, and we're able to run programs geared towards meeting needs of different audiences. Okay. So before I talk about the different programs that we run, I think we need to look at how, as an institution, in particular the outreach people, how we view astronomy. In our experience and in our view, astronomy inspires curiosity, and it encourages the culture of thinking and a desire for learning. So this we have experienced with people. When you do an activity, we can see how curious they become, even young learners, even older people. They'll ask you questions. And if they are not satisfied, or if they want more, they can go and research, read in their libraries, try to find information. That's why I say astronomy inspires curiosity and encourages a culture of thinking and a desire for learning. And it has multicultural origins, And therefore, every nation and every culture has a relationship with stars, and they've used stars for various purposes. Even here at home, we are no exception. People have used stars and they've named stars according to their languages and culture. I've already indicated that astronomy appeals to everyone, young, old, urban, rural, male and female. It appeals to everyone. Everyone. I've seen it with young children, very, very young pre-primary school children, who will want to tell you why the moon has different phases, what is happening, even though at times their understanding is incorrect, but they still have a view. And we all know that astronomy is a key driver for technology, and it's also a gateway to all different science subjects. It is therefore then that we conclude that astronomy is a perfect vehicle or a perfect medium for science engagement. So in terms of our strategy informed by this understanding of the qualities of astronomy, we have created this framework which focuses on science education, science communication, science awareness, and the socio-economic development, in particular in Sutherland. Okay? So in terms of the science education aspect, we work with teachers. We do a lot of teacher support programs, train teachers in the teaching of Earth and beyond, a theme that is related to astronomy. We create relevant materials and resources that they can use in their classrooms. We run programs for learners, mostly high school learners, on careers in science and technology, particularly in astronomy. We also focus on programs that are geared towards meeting the needs of girls, right? And we support schools in general. And then in terms of science awareness, we have site tours both in Cape Town and Sutherland, but more massive in Sutherland. We've got public lectures that are held here, like open, we call them open nights. So they're held twice a month, every second and every fourth week of the month, yes. Then we've got stargazing sessions that we will take telescopes to different spots. Sometimes we do street astronomy. We take telescope to the street and show people different objects in the sky. We participate in science festivals like the SciFest in Grahamstown, the Sasol Techno X in Sasolburg, and various provincial festivals. We interact with the media, trying to communicate the science that is executed here in the observatory. So we had lots of press releases. We support our postgraduate students and some scientists in terms of communicating science. We produce popular science communication resources So that's science education and science awareness. And I think my colleague Anthony Mitas, covered a lot about socio-economic development in Sutherland. So I won't dwell much in terms of the SAO Sutherland relations. I think my colleague covered it very well, all the aspects yesterday. But I think I just want to point out that it is so beautiful to see and experience a community that is inspired by astronomy. If you have ever been to Sutherland or you intend to go to Sutherland, please look at the different businesses and look at the different names that have been given to the different businesses in Sutherland. You get Blue Moon, you get Jupiter, you get Venus Stars, you get Southern Cross. There's a planetarium and there's also a private observatory that exists there. So it's so beautiful to see how astronomy has inspired a community. My colleague covered astrotourism very well in terms of how the construction of SALT, Southern African Large Telescope, has transformed Sutherland into a tourist town. Like currently we receive up to about 15,000 people per month. But I think 2 points that I want to highlight in terms of our relationship with Sutherland, the SAO Sutherland relationship. I think we are presenting a model for observatories all over the world in terms of how the observatory can establish good relations with the community. And also the work that has been done within science engagement, and in particular in Sutherland, has led to the location and the formation of the IAUOAD, the Astronomy Office for Development. Moving on to teachers, just more info on the teachers. We do a lot of different workshops, but over the past few years, we have tended to focus on the Earth and Beyond theme, part of the curriculum, and the reason being, this is something that's specific to us as an observatory. This is something unique that we can offer. Also, for the fact that teachers have not been trained in astronomy related, most of the teachers that are working at the moment have never been trained in astronomy related content. So we have linked with different universities. For example, the University of Cape Town, we work with the School Development Unit of the University of Cape Town and the School of Education in rolling out workshops for the teachers. And also we have worked with different provincial departments of education, the Western Cape Education Department, the Limpopo, the KZN, Northern Cape, in doing different teacher with support workshops. And we have also linked with the professional teacher associations in rolling out these teacher workshops. So we also share resource materials with them and provide them with resources to teach the Earth and Beyond. What I want to highlight is that there are quite a number of misconceptions and alternative conceptions that we have discovered while working with the teachers. And the sources are different. And largely it's the textbooks. Most of the textbooks that are in circulation have a number of errors. And you find yourself arguing and trying to explain to the teacher, but he or she will say, this is what the textbooks say. So the numbers, some of them are based on optical illusions, some are linked to languages. And we're trying to address this as we work with the teachers. But we have learned one thing, that you need continuous intervention and continuous support to improve the content knowledge of the teachers. That's why we are moving towards having an online courses for teachers so they are able to tap onto the resources that they have and we're able to interact with them virtually. These are just images of teachers, teacher workshops. You can see some teachers You can see some teachers at SALT, and we've had teachers working with the Department of Education and teachers at the South African Astronomical Observatory. And we've linked at times with Itemba Labs, and we've done workshops jointly. So these are teachers at Itemba Labs, and we're doing joint teacher workshop. With regard to learners, we have a number of programs. And I'll just, like I said, I'm going to provide an overview. I won't go into details in terms of the different programs because of the time limitations. Otherwise, I won't have enough time if I go to each program deeply. I want to highlight the Job Shadow program. This is a 2-day program that is run here at the observatory, and it focuses on high school learners. Initially, when this program was developed, it focused exclusively on astronomy, but we have moved on to include other aspects or other careers that are linked to astronomy, like engineering, like IT, like software development. And this program is coordinated by Ms. Natalie Jones, one of my colleagues. It has worked very well and has served as a model for other institutions. I know in KZN, University of KZN, they have also developed a similar program. And I think Sarawa is also developing a similar program using our method. So learners come to the observatory and spend 2 days, and they interact with different professionals, like a theorist in terms of astronomers, and an observer, some mechanical engineer, electronics engineer, different people. And then we've got an astronomy quiz that's run. It's a national quiz for grade 7s. So you have a team of 4 learners participating. So they compete against each other based on they are quizzed. They supplied with questions based on what we supply them, introduction to astronomy for primary school book. And then we also participate in career exhibitions, both nationally and in different provinces. And one of my colleagues, Tembela Mantungwa, has started a career program in Sutherland, and this has been successful. I think last year we also moved on to Williston and to Fraserburg to involve the other towns in the Karoo Hochland. And we also have activities that are based on girls. And this has been led by Buzani Kumalo. So we have our Women's Day event, and some of our scientists from other facilities, not necessarily astronomers, physicists, applied mathematicians, they'll come and address and spend time with the girls. And we've also started a girls' camp. We also participate in programs such as National Science Week and World Space Week. These are just some of the images showing some of the learners participating in the astronomy quiz and the astronomy essay here, with Buzani Kumalo there. And then you have us, a career exhibition in Khayelitsha here. This is a stargazing session in Mitchell's Plain. Then you have Vili, one of our colleagues, addressing learners that came as part of the school visit to the observatory. And then this is us at an exhibition. Then you have for girls with programs. This was part of the Women's Day. Right there, you see some learners, bright faces, hope they continue science and technology studies. So I just want to share some of the stories. Here's some of our successes. Here I have Ulrich Green, who's doing honors in astrophysics at UCT. He participated in part of our Job Shadow program. We have Adrian Verhoek here. He participated in the Astro Quiz and was part of the winning team. He's studying MBCHB at UCT. And then we have Nabila Kajiye. She participated in a competition that we had done here. And she has completed an MBCHB at the University of Stellenbosch. There she is. Then we have Anele here, who was part of our science club programs. And now he has completed a BSc degree in applied mathematics and mathematics at UCT. Okay? And then the last two of the example that I want to share is Dashini Apalmi and Wonji. This was motivated or inspired by visit. Dashini was inspired by a vision to Sutherland, spent 3 days in Sutherland, and decided to study a BSc in mechanical engineering. She has completed it. Wonji has completed a PhD after being sponsored by SAO to visit University of Wisconsin. So these are just some of the stories, okay? Now I want to thank you for listening to me. And I try to cover the breadth of our programs. And in conclusion, I just want to say thank you, for listening to me. And also, I think you have observed that we are indeed transforming lives and also inspiring a nation. Thank you.
Sivuyile, thank you for a very inspirational talk. It is truly inspirational to see the reach that the SAO has on its community and even all the way across the country. So I have one question here from Nicholas, and he would like to know if there are any job shadow programs for adults.
For adults, currently, we have a job shadow program for high school learners. But definitely we can accommodate, and we have indeed in the past accommodated adults that want to learn about astronomy, that are interested in, also at the workshops, we have also accommodated people that were interested in engineering studies. So definitely we can accommodate such we don't have a running program, but when it comes on the needs basis, we do create it for other people. Even in terms of inquiries, I've received inquiries from people wanting to study astronomy while they were already working and having families. And I've always encouraged them to say, we can link up with UNISA. They do have astronomy modules. They do offer a basic degree there. And then you can do it online.
Okay, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for a great talk.